right. So now when we go to approach this one, just like we said earlier on, we're going to treat it as a rectangle down here. And if we look at this rectangle as having a length and a width, then it's not bad, because we can just say this one is 21 by 16. Okay, not bad. And then we need to think of this shape as a triangle. Now remember, for a triangle, the area is going to be base times height, and then we always divide it by 2, because a triangle is just half of a rectangle. So we need to know the base, which is this down here, and we know that's 21 centimeters. So we can say, okay, that's going to be 21. But then what's the height? Well, the height is right down here. And we don't have a number for that. But we know that the height of the entire thing is 32. And we know that we've used up 16 of that. So how much is left here for the top? Well, if you can do it in your head, great. If not, just come down here and we can say the whole height is 32, but we have used up 16 of that. And so this must be 16 as well. So not very exciting. This one is also 21 by 16, but don't forget that because it's a triangle, we have to divide it by 2. So when we go to find the area of this whole thing is just the area of the rectangle plus the area of that triangle. And so we would say the rectangle is 21 centimeters by 16 centimeters. And then, I'm going to underline that so we know that that's the rectangle we're talking about. And then the triangle, the base of that is 21 as well. It's also 16 centimeters high, but because it's a triangle, we have to divide it by 2. And those are the two areas that we have to put together. We put them together by adding. And so when we actually go to do that math, we can say, okay, 21 by 16. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to keep going there. Actually, 21 by 16 plus 21 by 16 divided by 2. And all together, that gives us an area of 504. And then again, this is a two-dimensional shape, so it's got to have a two-dimensional unit, so centimeters squared, not just centimeters. And there we go. All right, hopefully that was of some help. Let's try the next one. And I'm going to quickly drag this down so I've got a calculator to work with. All right. This one's not so bad. Seems stressful, but really, if we just say, okay, we've got this here, and then we've got these two here, which are actually the exact same, which is nice. And we may say like, well, I don't know the area of any one thing, but it's actually not so bad, because we know this whole thing is 15, and these little lines, the little lines you see in everything, mean that those are all the same number. And because those are all the same number, this 15 is broken into one of those, and then a second one of those, and then a third one of those. It's broken into 3 equal areas, 1, 2, and 3. So when you break 15 3 ways, what does it give us? Well, it gives us 5, 5, and 5. So, knowing that, we know that every time we see one of these lines, we know that is 5 centimeters. That means that this is 5 centimeters, this is 5 centimeters, this is 5 centimeters, that's 5 centimeters, that's 5 centimeters, so on and so forth. 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters. I wouldn't recommend going and writing that all those places, but does that make sense? Everywhere we see one of those lines, we know it's 5 centimeters. That means that for these two squares over here, finding their area is really easy. That's just a 5 by 5 square, and that's a 5 by 5 square. Easy, easy, easy. This one's a little bit trickier, but it's not so bad. We know that this is 5, 10, 15, so we know this side must be 15. And the question then is, how big is this side? And we know the whole thing is 18, but we know that we lose 5 of that over here, and we know we lose 5 of that over there. So if we take 5 and 5 away from 18, that's taking 10 away. That would leave us with 8 in the middle. So this must be 8 millimeters. So again, this drawing definitely not to scale. I don't love that, but that's okay. That means that this rectangle here is 15 by 8. And so when we go to find the area, it's just the area of the three things put together. The area of the kind of big yellow rectangle, and of one of the small orange ones, and of the other small orange one. And when we go to work that out, this one we said was 15 by 8. And I should put units because these are all in millimeters. So 15 millimeters times 8 millimeters. And then we said this was 5 by 5. And the other one is 5 by 5. And we can just go ahead and put that in the calculator. So we can say 15 by 18. Nope, not by 18, by 8. (15 by 8) plus 5 by 5 for the second rectangle plus 5 by 5 for the third rectangle. And then we can just press enter on that, and we get an area of 170. And again, these were all measured in millimeters, but it's a two-dimensional shape. So it's got to have a two-dimensional unit. It'll be millimeters squared. There we go. And I'll move this calculator down again. The last one we want to take a look at is this shape here. And for this one, we said we have a rectangle here. That's really easy. That is just a 14 by 6 rectangle. And then we have a semicircle, so half a circle, and the radius on that is equal to what? Well, remember, radius goes from the middle to the edge. In fact, I'm going to like this. Radius goes from the middle out to the edge. And what's the radius of this? Well, this whole thing is 14. The radius is just half of that. So what's half of 14? If you know what half of 14 is, you know what the radius is. If you can do that in your head, as always, awesome. If you can't, well, just go here. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So the radius is 7 centimeters. And so the area of this guy is just the area of the rectangle, and then plus the area of that blue circle if it was a whole circle, and then we just got to remember to divide that by 2 because we don't have a whole circle, we only have half a circle. So let's work that out. Well, the rectangle is easy, it's just 14 by 6, so we'd say 14 meters by 6 meters. And then, if you remember, for a circle, to find the area, we did pi times the radius squared. And the radius in this case is 7, and we're going to square it. And then, because we only have half a circle, we're going to divide by 2. So we can say area equals, and we can just punch this in. And again, just really quickly, That is the rectangle. That is our circle. So let's plug it in. So the rectangle we said was 14 by 6. And we have to add the circle. For the circle, we do pi times the radius, which is 7 squared. And that would be a circle, but since we only have half a circle, we divide by 2. And we end up with an area of 160.97. Very good. So I hope that helped.